we care about floats? Well, floats allow us to do layouts, and they give us the building blocks to create a site. So for example, using just these basic blocks, if we imagine box 1 as an image banner that we want across the top, we can give this a width of 100%. Actually, in this case, because of our padding, we're going to give it like a 98% and see how far that goes. There we go. So we're going to say make that 98%, and it's plus the 10 padding. So it's going to come close to filling it up. But say this is our banner. And so we're also going to give it a height that's a little bit bigger, say 200 pixels. And then underneath that, we're going to make a couple of other elements that would be, for example, a couple columns forming our text. So box 2, let's go into that, and let's give it a width of, say, 65%. We want it to be about 2/3. And so we're going to float that left, and then our box 3, we're going to float that right and leave it at 30, and it's going to leave a nice little margin in between there automatically. So now what's happened is this is going to form the basis of our website. If we go in and add the wrapper that we've done, so let's go back to our code and let's add these things into our code. So I'm going to go back. Let's add a wrapper. So I'm in the HTML, div ID wrapper, and that's right inside the body tag, and we're going to go down right in before the body tag closes, and I'm going to leave myself a comment, and I'm just going to say this closes the wrapper. So I know what that div is doing. Then I'm going to go into my CSS, and we're going to create that new wrapper style, and I'm going to just do that right up near the top, and we're going to open and close that. I'm going to give this a width, and I'm going to give it a width of, say, 80%, because I'm going to keep this in percentages. Percentages allow us to be a lot more fluid. And then if you remember, we do margin left. We've been doing this a few times. And margin right, auto. And this will allow us to center. There we go. We'll save that. And now I'm going to go in and let's see, what did we also change? We did our box 1. We can actually, I'm going to put this in at 100% now and see what happens. And actually, I'm going to remove the padding. So I'm going to change this so that it doesn't apply to all 3 of the boxes. And I will put it in here. We'll still leave the padding on box 2 and the padding on box 3. And we're going to change the width of box 2. We set that to 65%, and changing box 3, we left that to 30, but we changed it to float right so that it had a little bit of built-in margin. So let's see what happens now. So I'm going to save this, and this is what an example of a potential layout would look like. And now to test to see how many of you are still watching this for an additional 5 extra credit, I want you to go out and we are going to replace this blue box with an image of a cat. I don't care which cat. So I'm just going to go out and do a Google search, and I'd already been out here. I pulled down this image. You can pick any image that you would like and then save it into your web folder. So for example, here's mine saved in here. I just called it cats. Make sure that you size it appropriately for the horizontal, because we're going to replace our banner. And here it is in Photoshop. I've gone in and I've done some cropping and stuff just to make it an appropriate banner for this. Then go back into your code. Let's go in and change. This is all in box 1. So what I want you to do then is go in and add a background image, which we've done before. And you can go ahead and browse. In my case, it's this one called cats. And you're going to notice that if you just put it in without a height, because actually I'm just going to leave this and I'm going to save it. Now let's go out to the browser and let's refresh this. You're going to see I just get this little tiny piece, and it's because I haven't given this any height beyond what we gave to all of our boxes. So let's go back to the code and see there was this height that was applied to boxes 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to just change the height for just the box 1. So height, and I happen to know my image is 390 pixels tall, so I'm going to put in that height. And the other thing I better do is background image, or actually it'd be background repeat, none or no repeat, because we don't want this to repeat even if it starts filling out. So I'm going to save this. So this was updating my CSS. I didn't do anything with the HTML, but now I'll have this image and it'll look more like a banner that you would see on a website. So let's go back out to the browser. So here is what it now looks like. So it still says Floats Review, it still has the rounded edges, we still have the 2 boxes that are there, but you earn the 5 extra credit points if you include a background image of some sort of cats, since the internet is filled with cats. Have fun with this. Thanks for staying tuned. So for example, then we have our header. We would have a banner image. We would have a column with some text. We'd have another narrow column with some text. So this is just an example of how we use these floats. So hopefully you've been able to follow along and figure out some of these elements.